This channel and its videos are made for a general audience. Thank you.
One day, Percy was waiting at the junction for Henry's train, but the big green engine had been delayed. Percy was growing impatient. At last, the big green engine snorted in.
I'm sorry I'm late. I had to wait for ages with the connection with the other railway. Percy was about to reply when Henry interrupted. Do you know, he went on, that they have goods trains on the other railway that don't have brakevans? They think it makes them special, but I don't think it's right. I'm glad to see you still got yours. Before Percy could reply, the signal dropped and Henry went away. Percy was amazed.
That night at the sheds, Percy told the other Farquhar engines what Henry had said.
Henry says they have goods trains on the other railway that don't have brakevans. Isn't that incredible?
Rubbish, snorted Thomas. That's illegal. We need brakevans at the ends of our trains to avoid accidents.
You maybe, but not me. I know how to control trucks. What's good enough for the other railway is good enough for me.
Both engines looked at Toby to see which side he was on, but they saw Toby was pretending to be asleep. The next morning, Percy raced around the harbor assembling his train.
Soon, Percy was ready to leave. All they had to do was couple a brakevan, but Percy decided to be a bit cheeky and tried to go off without it. Whoa, Percy, said his driver. Bother, said Percy. But that was just the beginning. Over the next few weeks, Percy tried all sorts of tricks to take his goods trains without brakevans, but none of them worked.
Eventually, Percy decided to give up, until he got his chance. A shunter was walking along the train, coupling everything up, when suddenly there was a crash. The shunter swung around to see Edward derailed on the set of jammed points. Oh dear, he said, as he ran up to see if Edward was all right. Percy saw his chance. All set, he called to his driver. His driver thought the shunter had coupled the brakevan, but he hadn't, so when Percy started off, he left it behind. The shunter and Edward's crew noticed this. They shouted and waved at Percy, but the driver didn't notice, which is what Percy had hoped.
What's good enough for the other railway is good enough for me,
He said. What Percy didn't know was that his sudden jolt had weakened one of the couplings, and suddenly it snapped. Shouted the trucks. The guard saw them coming. He quickly put on the brakes and leapt from his van. Just in time. Percy came slowly back down the hill. Everyone was very cross. The guard, still shaken from the incident, walked up to Percy. What were you thinking, going off without me?
I'm sorry, sir,
said Percy, and he explained what Henry had told him. Engines on the other railway have special brakes. Like passenger trains, they don't need brakevans. Your trucks only have couplings, so they need brakevans to avoid accidents like this one. I hope you'll pay more attention to brakevans and you'll start appreciating them now. Percy was quite sure that he did, and he never tried to leave a brakevan behind again.